Everybody saw what happened in Massachusetts. It's amazing what people will tolerate. Um, that was just days before, or was that the same day of the events on Lexington and Concord being celebrated to resist British tyranny, but yet we have tyranny in their own yards, in their own houses. Very sad to see that in the same location where those events happened. But I guess I've rambled off. Long train of thought. Hopefully you could follow me. It's getting late here. I'm going to try to get this up and posted and maybe edit it up a little bit. Something to think about. Alright, before I sign off here, another thing that's been bringing me along to this train of thought is I have restudied and reread the 1984. Obviously, I remember reading it back in high school, and then it was more of a novel about how bad the future could be with technology. That's kind of the way it seemed like we approached it. Technology doesn't solve all our problems. It can be used to harm. And I didn't really take away some of the personal, more things that kind of looking back now you can see more directly as to how it applies more directly to our situation. It's not so much that our lives are so bad, but that the actual government does have the ability to control people's minds and the point. And looking at the term cognitive dissonance, people being unwilling to acknowledge what is right in front of their face. It is obvious that our economic system is in a shambles, that the dollar is worthless, but people won't recognize it because it's backed up by power and it's what they have to use every day. Cognitive dissonance in the effect that we have a police state. Our police are dressed like the military. They act like the military. The Fourth Amendment has been tread upon, destroyed practically. The government has been tracking you in the way that the telescreens have been doing in here in this book. Winston finds out in here at the end that he finally realizes that they've been watching him since he's been around, since as long as he can remember. I think he says like 7 years. And that's what's been happening to us. We've probably been watched, or maybe not watched directly, personally, individually. The government's had the ability to record and be involved in tracking your movements and activities for decades. I mean, if we could tap into a phone that an Afghani shepherd has back in the early 2000s, if the DoD could do that, we're not talking about CIA. The DoD had the ability to do this. CIA's been able to tap into your cell phone since they've been around. Turn them on. I'm talking about they can remotely turn them on and listen to your conversation. That's fully part of their technological abilities. Tapping into this camera right here and being able to watch you over your own camera, off your laptop or whatever, webcam, without your knowledge, turning you on without your knowledge, recording, tracking, and they can put it into a database and they can just go through and do search terms later. And I'm sure there's some type of search program, software that they're developed or have developed that can do search for terms and find out whatever they want. Type in certain IP addresses, they go back and they can probably find what files locate with what IP address and locate all your stuff. Once they want to identify it, but they don't. Obviously, you probably don't look at your stuff every day, or whatnot. But when they actually go and feel the need, they can pull that up and categorize it and catalog a large chunk of whatever it is they want to track and pin to a certain location or a certain person. Again, cognitive dissonance, being the distancing ourselves from the reality that that's what's happened and what is going on. In California, the cognitive dissonance is extreme. The governor signed into law today a bill to continue the confiscation of firearms people who have been determined unqualified. And I'm going to pull this up real quick. Okay, so here you have Huffington Post, Los Angeles. California gun bill approves $24 million to expedite illegal gun seizure. Now, the key is that they're not illegal guns they're confiscating. They're confiscating guns that they've deemed that people can't possess. And the devil is in the details as usual. So it doesn't say you have to be a felon. See if you have to be deemed somebody who is not capable of owning or allowed to own a firearm, including those of a criminal conviction or serious mental illness. Talk about serious mental illness. Let's go to here. Whoop, wrong one. California seized guns. This is from March. Owners lose right to bear arms. This lady visited a mental hospital for 2 days, and they came and took her guns, her husband's guns. They weren't hers, because she was deemed incompetent and not allowed to own a firearm. 2 days she voluntarily put herself into a hospital, into a mental institute to get checked out or whatever treatment or whatever's going on, and automatically, and that's what they're further instituting here with this California gun ban. They're getting $24 million, which is that's a small amount for California, I guess. But how much does he think this has to do with this $24 million? Do not think that $24 million there is not also tied to how many guns they're going to try to confiscate. This is a grant from the federal government. You can bet their dollars are going to try to make more people incompetent to have firearms so they can continue to get those millions of dollars. That's just the way it works. So the people of California are going through some serious cognitive dissonance, recognizing the infringement of their rights and their government imposing upon them, which their government's broke. It's illegitimate in most respects, and they continue to take it. And the good people that live there, I don't know how they take it. I mean, I know they feel like businesses. They live there their whole life. I mean, it's bad enough where I live, across the border, and what we have to deal with. And they want what they deal with, taxes, and they're talking about letting illegals, people that are not California citizens, sit on juries. That's not a jury of your peers. It's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. So the people of California have cognitive dissonance, are not recognizing what's right in front of their face. They have a tyrannical government operating. And take effect immediately, it says here. Interesting. Part of the problems is one of the California gun groups has been challenging this because it illegally takes money that was supposed to go from background checks and puts it in this program or whatever. It's a big rigmarole with people shifting money around to try to support their own cause. Big gun grab. They're going to try to find as many people as they can incompetent. There's the stories we've all heard of veterans being declared incompetent. There's a good ad. Get out there, guys. The stories with the veterans being declared incompetent by the VA. And things like that, where people are getting letters saying come in for mental evaluation, you may be declared incompetent, and if this happens, you'll be not able to own a firearm. These people that have no history of PTSD or even that, not that that matters, but there's not like they have a debilitating illness that makes them incapable of acting for themselves or functioning. But they're talking about assigning somebody to care for their disability funds, and they'll lose their right to have a firearm as well, these letters. And that's just beyond disturbing. So, enough for tonight. It's late. Again, like I said, good night. Hope I've said something that has made you think a little bit. Definitely please reply to some comments. And I know I'm probably going to lose some subscribers over this. I know a lot of my subscribers are America all the way to the end. We will survive. We will persevere. I don't see it that way. Not that we can't be friends or neighbors, or I'm willing to live beside anybody that's willing to fight for the same virtues as the republic was founded. But that's not what we are doing anymore. So more to follow maybe in the future days, but things aren't looking good. Get through the webs in your eyes. Stop seeing what you want to see and see what's really going on. Examine it for yourself. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Good morning.